Welcome to Global Trends. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Let's talk about corn, a staple of global agriculture and a multi-billion-dollar industry. For decades, the US was the king of corn, feeding the world and dominating exports. But recent trade policies have backfired, isolating American farmers and opening the door for competitors. The global agricultural market is a delicate ecosystem. Disrupt one part, and the whole thing can collapse. In 2025, American farmers are facing a sudden, dramatic drop in exports, with silos full of unsold corn. Other nations are stepping in, not just filling the gap, but taking over the market. A policy meant to show strength has instead exposed a major vulnerability. Tariffs were slapped on imports to protect U.S. industry, but trade is a two-way street. China, America's biggest agricultural customer, retaliated with its own tariffs. Overnight, American corn became too expensive, contracts were canceled, and decades of market building evaporated. This isn't a minor hiccup, it's a seismic shift in global supply chains. The world is adapting, turning to new suppliers while the U.S. struggles to keep up. The great American corn machine has stalled, and its competitors are racing ahead. How did we get here? It started with tariffs. In early 2025, the Trump administration reignited a trade war, targeting China. China hit back, focusing on America's agricultural exports: corn, soybeans, beef, dairy. The impact was immediate. U.S. corn exports to China collapsed from $2.6 billion in 2023 to just $561 million in 2024. American corn became too expensive and Chinese buyers quickly found alternatives. The pain spread across all U.S. exports. Ports like Portland and Tacoma saw exports drop by over 50% and 28% respectively. Even major ports like Los Angeles and Savannah weren't spared. In 1 week, container ship arrivals dropped by 43%, a supply chain heart attack. Farmers saw the disaster coming, but the government pressed on. A brief truce in June 2025 did little to restore trust or market stability. America's competitors capitalized on the chaos, securing deals that once belonged to U.S. farmers. The tariff tantrum made American agriculture a casualty of its own government's policies. The damage was done and the world moved on. The lesson? Trade wars rarely end well for those who start them. America shot itself in the foot, and the wound is deep. While America waged a trade war, Canada quietly seized the moment. International buyers, wary of U.S. volatility, turned to Canada for stability and quality. Canadian corn exports surged, with billion-dollar deals replacing lost American contracts. Canadian farmers planted more, exported more, and earned more, simply by being reliable. This isn't just a temporary windfall. Canada is building long-term relationships with key buyers. Every container of Canadian corn shipped abroad is one less for American farmers. America's America First policy ended up making Canada the real winner. While U.S. politicians argued, Canadians counted their profits. Enter Brazil, the new king of corn in China. Brazil, already a soybean powerhouse, was approved to export corn to China in late 2022. As U.S. corn became expensive and politically risky, Brazil stepped in with vast fields and eager exporters. By 2024, Brazil overtook the U.S. as China's top corn supplier, a rapid, decisive shift. China simply swapped suppliers, prioritizing business over politics. The same story played out with soybeans. U.S. market share plummeted to 18%, while Brazil soared to 74%. These new supply chains are built to last, with Chinese investment in Brazilian infrastructure and long-term contracts. Even if the U.S. reversed its tariffs, it couldn't easily reclaim lost ground. Trust is gone, and Brazil now holds the throne. The U.S. handed over its market, and Brazil locked the door behind them. This isn't just a bad year, it's a fundamental realignment. The U.S. lost decades of work in a matter of months. Brazil is now the dominant force in China's agricultural imports. The U.S. is left watching from the sidelines. While politicians celebrated, America's farmers faced disaster. The trade war hit them directly, collapsing crop prices, soaring input costs, and vanishing safety nets. Net farm income has declined for 2 years straight. Soybean prices are down 34% since 2021. Fertilizer costs are up, and interest rates on farm loans have surged 40% since 2020. Farmers are squeezed from every direction, facing a severe credit crunch. With less cash and tighter lending, many can't afford seeds or fertilizer for the next season. Repayment rates on farm loans have dropped for 6 straight quarters, a clear sign of distress. Multi-generational family farms are being pushed to the brink, not by weather but by policy. The promise of protection through tariffs has proven empty. Instead, farmers face debt, uncertainty, and heartbreak. The heartland is in crisis, betrayed by those who claim to defend it. The cost of this trade war is measured in lost livelihoods. The damage goes far beyond corn. U.S. agricultural exports to China fell 14% in 2024, costing billions in lost revenue. The meat industry was hit hard. Beef and pork exports to China dropped from $4.1 billion to $2.5 billion. Cotton exports slipped too, and every lost sale hurts in a business of tight margins. The pain ripples through the entire supply chain: farmers, truckers, port workers, and more. Fewer exports mean fewer ships, lost jobs, and economic stagnation in rural and coastal communities. The trade war united the country in shared economic misery. The architects of these policies misunderstood global trade. Punishing others only hurt America. In a connected world, tariffs boomerang back. The U.S. agricultural sector is now a casualty ward, filled with wounded industries. The sorrow is widespread, and recovery is nowhere in sight. America's reputation as the world's breadbasket is crumbling. The consequences are real, and the damage is deep. September 2025. America surveys the wreckage of a self-inflicted disaster. Economic nationalism and protectionism have yielded lost markets, financial ruin, and a diminished global standing. The policies meant to show strength exposed a fundamental weakness: misunderstanding global trade. The future of U.S. agriculture is uncertain. Lost markets won't be easily regained. Canada and Brazil now hold the contracts and the trust of global buyers. Reversing course won't be enough. America must rebuild trust from scratch. The damage to its reputation may be the most lasting legacy. This episode is a warning. No country can dictate global trade through tariffs and threats. The global economy is interconnected. Pulling one thread unravels the whole. Farmers, ranchers, and workers now live with the consequences of political posturing. The path forward requires humility, a new approach, and a commitment to partnership. America must choose, rebuild, or watch others prosper. Right now, the only thing it's exporting is its own market share.